Good Thursday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Very interesting morning ahead, interesting afternoon, and an interesting week ahead because we still have a lot of rain that's still yet to come. I want to show you what we're seeing on the Ultimate Doppler radar. We have some flood advisories, or excuse me, flood watches. Those are in green. We have some dense fog advisories. Those were newly issued at 6:02 this morning. But there is some pockets of rain, especially toward the Tri-Cities and in Crossville, back toward the west and the plateau. So it is scattered. There's no doubt about that. As of last night, right before midnight, we hit 5 inches for the month. We picked up 0.42. So we're up to just under a half inch before midnight. I believe we picked up another 1/1700ths of an inch. We'll add this up for you in a moment. But I want to show you, as far as the Ultimate Doppler radar, presented by Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair, East Tennessee's #1 tire shop and auto repair since 1953. If you need a new set of tires, maybe you need an alignment, maybe you need help with your brakes, maybe an oil change, tire rotations, tire repair, Knoxville's very own Madlock Tire Service Auto Repair, the best in East Tennessee. They've got 5 convenient locations to serve you: Knoxville, Maryville, Lenoir City, Athens, as well as Hardin Valley. Check them out. You can also go to madlocktireservice.com. I have a link at the top of this post. You can schedule your appointment so that you will minimize your wait. In fact, it'll be very quick and easy if you're going in for just an oil change, I'm sure, as they now have been servicing for over 70 years. Kind of amazing, but happy to have Madlock as a sponsor for this weather segment. Notice the heavier rains down across Georgia in yellow. There's still some fire hosing moving across Alabama and parts of Mississippi, so the heavier rains are certainly moving into the picture, and it's going to continue to spread it. My question is, how does your outside look? Is the snow all gone? Is it pretty much a distant memory now? Because now that we have a wet sponge, the ground, to work from, that's the question. Are we going to see this continue? I think we will. The rain will come in periods of times today, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. But as far as the official rainfall, we're now at, you ready for this? 0.60. So we're a little more than a half inch. I'm looking at I'm multitasking. I'm looking at my phone, and I'm also keeping an eye on the app because I want to know what's going to happen where I live, where you live. So these are things I'm going to cover today. In addition to, before I get ahead of myself, I'd mentioned that there's a fog advisory and the actual rainfall. Look at these amounts. They vary quite a bit. As at least, this is not updated, Knoxville has had 0.60 now as of the 6 o'clock hour. If you count in the 0.42 from last night, 0.18 so far this morning, and 102. So over an inch has occurred in places like Crossville, probably closing in on an inch around Kingston, and I'm looking at Morristown, maybe lesser amounts there. But again, this is just the early chapter of this continuing saga that is the weather drama we have this winter. It's all rain, it's team spring, and it's also coming in with some fog. I mentioned the fog advisory that runs till 9 o'clock this morning. You'll notice it does not include Morgan County, interestingly enough, and it does not include Scott County. But for most everybody, anywhere visibility could be down to a quarter to a half mile, and if you need some evidence, look at this. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Those are the areas, the white spots, where the fog might be most dense. So it's down to a mile or less, Oak Ridge, down to a mile or less, Knoxville, McGee, Tyson, and probably next to 0, Morristown. So take into account that the fog may be an issue for you this morning. If you're on YouTube, let me know. Needed97 says, good morning. Dennis Hatcher, good morning. It's warm and foggy, rainy this morning in Dandridge. Thank you for that update, Dennis. I was in Irwin yesterday afternoon. It was an amazing 70 degrees. It was 70 in the Tri-Cities. And yet their record high, I looked it up, was 78 from 1972. They were still 8 degrees shy of a record high in January of yesterday. Yesterday, of course, being the 24th. But thank you for that update. Felicia's Crafty Adventures says, good morning, happy Thursday. That's on YouTube. Go back to Facebook. Pop over to Facebook. I want to see what comments are coming in. Michael Norman, the ground fog was quite interesting before dark. It was like the ground, yeah, it was like almost like dry ice, right? Almost like a scene from a concert. You're like, oh, there must be a musician coming out somewhere soon to play. Our ground isn't that cold very often. No, it's not. Ed says, good morning. Let spring begin. It's Frosty on vacation. I was commenting that I felt like, save Frosty the snowman, pretty much gone in most cases, but I'm sure there's some clumps of snow in some parking lots. Pauline says snow in East Maryville has melted and gone. Thank you, Pauline. There might be some Team Snow fans that are shedding a tear this morning, but fear not, February will be here, and I'm going to show you, I might even surprise you with what's coming down the road. Stay with me. It is 6:44. Here's a look at some of the visibility that may be improving as we pass 9 a.m., but there's still going to be low clouds, so there may be some issues. And I think most of the rain Well, it might be ebb and flows, at least this morning. There will be some spots where we pick back up in time for the drive home as well. So if it's not raining actively, it's drippy, it's damp, and it's wet underfoot. Flood watch in effect until 7 o'clock tonight. Has that changed? I can find out. Let's see. Has that changed? Let's just see. Ooh, no, it has not. It is an aerial flood watch until 7 p.m., which means the flood-prone areas, you know, the low-lying areas, if you live near a creek, if you live near a stream, these are the areas the Weather Service believes could have some issues because some of the water in the creeks could swell. It could come out of their banks, and that wouldn't be good, especially if you live near that creek or stream. So you want to watch these areas, especially in green, but it too is where we are right now. Temperature at the moment is 49 in Oak Ridge. It's 49 in Rockwood, while it's 54 in Jonesville. That's interesting. Let's see, 6-degree difference between Rockwood and Wartburg. That's weird. Well, elevation, you know, warm air rises. It's really not that unheard of, but it is cooler, in quotation marks, between Anderson, maybe Roane County, Loudoun County, and Knox County at the moment, because Knoxville is, in fact, 51, and our low was 48. I did a Wednesday night live, a rare live Wednesday night, and it was 48 at that time, and I was expecting 49. Well, we came up, so we're now at 51. So we've actually come up about 4 degrees, 3 degrees just in the last couple of hours. Been holding steady at 51 now at McGee-Tyson. Where are the winds? Well, they've kind of subsided. No wind advisories right now for the Smokies. They have they were allowed to expire at 1 o'clock this morning. Wind speeds today will be variable to start, and then southwest this afternoon. And once they change to the southwest and take hold, I think it'll be about 5 to 15 plus. So the winds will be a little more noticeable. Somebody was asking me with all the rain, could the trees start to sway or could trees come down? If they were a lot stronger, 5 to 15 isn't going to cause alarm bells to go off, but you certainly want to watch anything that might happen when you have a lot of rain coming into play. We're going to look at that, but the flooding safety, I talked about this last night. If you didn't catch it, 6 inches of moving, rushing water can, in fact, sweep a person off their feet. Turn around, don't drown. We say that a lot in the weather community. It's a good safety tip because it saves lives. And the decision really comes down to you in that split-second decision. 12 inches of water can also sweep away an SUV. Now, that may surprise you, but that's all it takes. And 18 inches of water can sweep away a very large vehicle. And again, it's all depending on the motion of that water. But notice when cars make this decision, they come up to a flooded road, they go, you know what, I'm in a hurry. I'm just going to plow ahead because I know this road. You don't know if there's a sinkhole under that water. You might have grown up in the area and say, I know this road like the back of my hand. But you don't know if there's a sinkhole or any kind of hole because your tire could get stuck. Then they have to have rescue, first responders come and get you. It's not a good idea. That's why we recommend turn around, don't drown. Find an alternative route if there's a lot of water on the road, and that may not be today. It might be on Saturday because I think the rains on Saturday will be significantly more than what we've had so far today. And every bit is cumulative. It has an effect, and it could cause some of these waters to kind of linger on some streets. Let's talk about rainfall. Let's take you about 5 o'clock today. We're going to add a little bit more to the half inch. We have 0.6 now, but a little more than half inch now. When we pick up, maybe double that. Maybe we double that by the time we hit 5 o'clock today in Knoxville. Heading into tonight, tomorrow morning, we start to see a band of heavier rains. We may pick up another inch. You see why I say this is a drip, drip, drip. It's a progressive issue that could get worse over time. And once we move into Saturday, oh, lights out, right? Lots of rain. Well, I see 3s and 4s there, David. Yes, I know. That's why I'm concerned about Saturday. We will get a pullback on Friday. Hear me now, believe me later. Friday, the front moves to the east toward Asheville. So it's like, hey, it stopped. We're done. And everyone's going to celebrate. And not knowing that Saturday's worse. Could be. Saturday, I believe, will be worse. So that's why you see 3s and 4s in Oak Ridge, Kingston, Rockwood, Harriman, and Knoxville. Farragut, Hardin Valley should be concerned. Athens should be concerned because all that could shift further toward Maryville in Blount County or even Tellico Plains in Monroe County. Just depends. And then you throw in Sunday at 5. This is a cumulative, it's like total for the whole time frame. And we've already picked up in many cases a half inch to an inch across the board, but it could get a lot worse. We'll look at slide number 2, because some people are like, well, that's just one opinion. Could I get a second? Like a doctor, I want a second opinion. Different model. Tackling the same problem with a different set of equations, and it shows pretty much the same output. You take it into Friday, not a big deal because there's not much movement. You go into Saturday, it could be lights out again. Oh yeah, look at Saturday. It gets more aggressive. There's 2 inches there, 3, And by the time we hit Saturday night and Sunday, there could be over 3.2 in Oak Ridge. So if you just, even if you took a blend of this, a blend like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and put it in the same bowl, you're still in that 2.5 to 4.5 inches of rain, I think, with locally higher amounts. That's a lot of rain. That's more than the month's supply. Normally, we'd see about a little more than 4 3/4 for the whole month, and we're pretty much past that now. Let me go back to the radar. Where's all this rain going to come from? Look at Louisiana. Look at Mississippi and Alabama. That's where it's coming in stages, right, in waves. And if you're on the fire hosing receiving end of this rain, it can be torrential and could be before the day is through. Most of the snow has tapered off the freezing rain in New England, but they've now see a little bit more of snow now into areas around Canada and up toward Quebec, maybe toward Newfoundland, actually. And you can see around Houston, that's where all this is coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. That's what we're watching this morning. I still got a lot to cover. Bus stop forecast, 2-hour delay. I recognize that. And other things too. Maryland Bell says one of my favorite towns is Irwin. The Apple Festival in October, the best I ever had. I hope you have fun up there. Thank you, Maryland, for that update. Wanda Post says, thank you, David, for being on here, taking your time, keep us safe. Danny says, go Vols. Have a great day. Thank you, Danny. And Alice says, good morning. Snow was gone yesterday, and it's rainy now in Glen Mary. Stay dry. Thanks for the updates. I appreciate the warm weather. You're welcome. Warm weather for now, but not for the long term. We're going to get into that, too. By the way, this updated map, this is 4.76. This is normal. Why be normal? As of before yesterday, I have not updated this map, but it does show you we've had 4.58 before this rain. We can add 0.60 to this. So now we're over 5 inches, right? We're over 5 inches of rain for the month, and it's only going to continue to get worse over time. Some of the thicker clouds in blue, cold cloud tops. Some of the colder cloud tops in yellow. So we've got a thick cloud base hovering over East Tennessee that's just ready to drop raindrops in your town and mine. It is 6:51. This is the bigger picture. Let's get to the nuts and bolts. Temperature right now, 57. Oh my, Team Spring's loving this. 57 in Nashville. It's 55 in Chattanooga. And the winds will eventually come up from the southwest today. I think southwest. Look at all those arrows in North Carolina. They're pushing all that warmth into Virginia. Is it any wonder we should start to see our temperatures rise into the 60s today, low to mid 60s before the afternoon. 49 right now in Oak Ridge, if you're just joining me. It's 53 in Maryville, Alcoa. And if you're in Morristown, White Pine, Talbot, or even Dandridge, you should be right now pretty close to 54 degrees. 58 in Crossville, pretty warm there. And 57 in Jamestown. Those are your current temperatures. Sunrise, I have at 7:41 Knoxville. Take note. That's a little less than an hour away. Sunsets at 5:55 today. And oh, why is your emoji crying? Well, it's because he's drenched, right? Maybe he's crying because the snow is melted. Maybe he's crying because it's a rainy day. It's kind of sad. I don't know. I was in a hurry to pick an emoji, so that's the one I picked. Maybe you're sad that it's raining today, but that's what we're expecting here on a Thursday. Lots of fog. Check that box. Lots of melted snow. Check that box. And please be extra careful, as Knox County, I know, is on a 2-hour delay. Some schools may have similar time frames. But by the time we hit 10 o'clock, we should be in the mid-50s in Knoxville and about 63 by 2 o'clock. I finished today about 65. But it wouldn't surprise me if you're near 70 in Tellico Plains. 70? Yeah, Tri-Cities hit 70 yesterday. Why shouldn't we just pass it around? Do-si-do. Let's take it to Monroe County today. They'll be near 70 today. 63, Oneida, Scott County, and a shout out to La Follette, Campbell County, around 64 today. So here are my headlines. 6:53, my goal is to be done in about 7 minutes. Locally heavy rain today and tonight to a somewhat lesser degree. And then the real pullback, less rain. Can't say it's dry because there'll still be some showers, mainly in the morning on Friday, but less rain. And then it comes in heavier again like buckets, like gangbusters on Saturday. That's what I expect to find a soggier solution or endpoint on Saturday. 52 right now at the airport. Winds are out of the northeast at 7, and we have relative humidity at 100%. It's either fog, it's either rain, or a combination of the two, and maybe throw in some snow melt. It's just very, very moist. It's very soggy and saturated. Showers and storms today, 80% chance. Average high now has bumped up. We've been at 48, seems like for weeks. Now the average high is 49, and by the time we get into February, it'll be in the 50s, well into the 50s, before February is over. But anyway, I get ahead of myself. Temperature of 65. There is the, Valley Planner for the next 12 hours. You can check it out here. Checking out some notes. Linda Rice says, good morning, David. Have a great day. Thanks for keeping us updated. Captain Accurate, you're welcome, Linda. Glad that you're here as well. And Wanda's also on the call. If you're on YouTube,
Let me know where and how you're seeing. I see Needed on here, Needed 97. Steve Stone, I missed you up here. He says, good morning, happy face. He's got the happy face. Steve Stone, one of my premium members on Facebook, on YouTube this morning. Thank you, Steve, for being here as well. Valley Planner, soggy day today. Got an 80% chance today. 40% on Friday. That should be AM. That's a morning event, and then it dries out. But then by the time we get to Saturday, what time Saturday? About 9 o'clock. How about that for an answer? By 9 o'clock. In fact, it'll probably be 7 o'clock for Chattanooga and, let's say, Etowah and Athens. 7 a.m. on Saturday, here comes racing in from the southwest. But by 9 o'clock, it's in Morristown. It's everybody. You get some rain. You get some rain on Saturday. About 9 o'clock, I think everybody's getting some wet weather. But it could start as early as 7, I think, reasonably by places like Etowah. Maybe even in Nyota, Philadelphia. Some Sweetwater areas will get some sweet water. There's a lot of water coming in on Saturday from the south and west with another system. 40% chance on Sunday, and some mountain snowflakes will arrive early next week. Temperature right now, 52 in Knoxville. It is a warm 63 in Atlanta. Rejoice if you're on Team Spring, because the 68 in New Orleans might be what's trying to move up here. We're going to get into the 60s today. Now, I don't expect 75 like Miami, but they've got 75 right now, and it's 21 degrees in Bismarck, 22 in Caribou. Got to show you this, and we'll lead this into the snow potential. How many of you want to see the snow? You want to see, is winter going to come back? I keep getting that question. The answer is yes, yes, and yes. Yes, it's coming back with an exclamation point. I think we just had an appetizer with Martin Luther King Day. No, what? You didn't just say that. I did. I've been saying that for weeks to my premium members. To some extent, been talking about the fact that winter's not going away with one event. This is going to be a multiple event problem for those that don't like the snow. But in the meantime, all the warm colors through the 26th of January, through the 27th, all come up from the south. But eventually, next week, you can see the spin, that low near Memphis. Look at the colors there. There's a little spin. That's going to initiate some mountain snowflakes. So watch the spin. Boop, right there. That's 28th, right? 28th, in fact, is Sunday. So we've got a spin, cold air aloft, cold air at 5,000 feet, and we've got mountain snows coming down from a northwest flow. So that's the horseshoe effect, right? This is not a snow for Knoxville. Don't be silly. It's a mountain snowflake for many of us, if you live in the Smokies, on Sunday. And it continues Monday. It's still cold. And look at the Arctic air in purple. It moves up into places like New England, and eventually what we call a backdoor cold front will be coming in around Groundhog Day. A look at Montreal. Some of the cold air starts to pour in there, and that sets the stage, don't you know, for the 8th of February, when winter comes back with a vengeance. I think it's going to come back with some very cold air. Look at that. Oh, there's the 8th. Hello, winter. It's back. And they're in the single digits. Chicago, Minneapolis. And guess where that's coming? Down here. Oh, no. Yes, it's coming back. And then we got reinforcements in Calgary and Winnipeg, and just north of Rapid City going into the rest of the month, including Valentine's Day. It might be time to hug your honey on Valentine's Day. A reason to hug because you're cold. I think that's just throwing that out there. But you might want to see this. Take a look. Everybody gather around your phone or your Fire Stick with your YouTube. Look at this. Come on. This is just model day. This is just fantasy until it's not. I say that all the time. People get upset with me. They're like, what does that mean? It means it's not. It hasn't happened yet. It's all fantasy until it's not. But let me show you this. Let me just show you this, okay? I'll just put it out there. Just put some totals there. There's some snow in the mountains. Okay, no big deal. What are you fussing about? Oh, what? Could you zoom in? What is that? Does that say what I think it says? Oh, I see 28 inches in western North Carolina. I see 19 inches around Cleveland. Oh, so that can't pop. No, that could pop. What is that date? February 10th? Maybe it happens on the 8th. Maybe it happens over the period of February 8th, 9th, and 10th. Wouldn't you want to know about it? Doesn't it help you to know weather information ahead of time because no one else is telling you that? Well, I can tell you that. I'm not saying this is a forecast, but anything's on the table. Winter is going to come back, and this will be a textbook case of what winter looks like. A true winter in East Tennessee hadn't even started yet. This is the main course. I think as we get into the 8th of February and beyond, it will be the main course, and March will likely be dessert. So there's still some team snow, a lot to be played out in the coming days and weeks. Solar Prediction Center now at 6:59. Obviously, I have gone long. My enthusiasm for snow has gotten the best of me. But today, I expect some severe weather to break out in isolated form from Mobile, Gulfport, and New Orleans, Montgomery, and Birmingham. Possibly a severe storm near Chattanooga today. But general thunderstorms are on the table for us today. Tomorrow, you notice the pullback. There's no coloring, essentially, in Knoxville because the thunder chance is around the Asheville area, maybe around, say, Cleveland or Chattanooga. And then the severe weather comes back with the next system on Saturday. So this is a new update, right? Some yellow areas would be scattered severe storms from Montgomery to Anniston, parts of say, Alabama and Georgia, just southwest of Atlanta, although Atlanta could be fair game for some isolated storms on Saturday, but nothing going on in terms of severe weather here. Rumbles of thunder certainly on the table for Saturday. Now, as far as the futurecast, look at this front. We bring in, it's like a railroad track, right? These storms are going to fire up along this boundary. Once the boundary lifts to the north, the low west of Bowling Green at 5 o'clock today, it may slow down. A couple of showers return later tonight, and then there's the pullback because the front's now in the mountains of North Carolina and beyond. So by noontime tomorrow, it's all gone. I see dry weather for the rest of the day on Friday. If we get a few showers in the morning, that would be about it. But then I believe once we get to about 7 to 9, there's 5. It starts to really pour in here. This is a little faster than my taste, but it gets pretty soggy on Saturday. Buckets, look at that. There's 9 a.m. And so it goes. So we're going to find some locally heavy rain. And if we haven't tipped the scales as far as the flooding and roads, creeks, we might do it on Saturday before the wraparound snow hits the Smokies this upcoming Monday, Sunday afternoon, really, into Monday. Now, the Futurecast shows our temperatures should be around 58 by noontime today. Some may be in the upper 60s like Tellico Plains, but the red areas might be indicative of some thunder. So thunderstorms, again, these are going to be periodic showers. That's why I left an 80% chance. It's not an all-day type of rain, but it is pretty gloomy. Heading into Thursday night, that's tonight, 10, 11 o'clock, still some clouds, still some drops of rain, and then the big pullback. Pretty dry. Temperatures tomorrow should easily make it to 64. There's 3:30. 64 on Friday before things start to really change a bit by the time we hit into Saturday because it gets pretty soggy. Clouds come racing back. Could see a little bit of sunshine, obviously, on Friday. Now today, 65. Showers and storms. Not the whole time, but a good chance that you'll find where it rains, it pours. Southwest winds 5 to 15 plus. And we already have a wet ground that's working against us in that regard. 65 for a high in Morristown. 62, Crossville, Wartburg. 63 in Oneida, Newport, 69. Pretty warm there too. 66 at Chattanooga, 65 Nashville if you're traveling today. But tonight down to 54. That's not much of a low. The normal high, ready, is 49. So we're going to be 5 degrees above the normal high for the low. That's like for the low. The normal low is 30. So we're like, what, 24 degrees above normal? That's not right. So maybe when we're 10 degrees below normal and everybody feels like we've been cheated or robbed, but remember, it was 24 degrees above normal tonight. That's how weird and wacky the weather can be. That's how Mother Nature works. You're at the beach, you get low tide, afternoon you get high tide. It's the same beach, but it's a different experience depending on the hour of the day. By the way, 53 the low in Morristown is my expectation, 50 in Wartburg, 51 Kingston, Rockwood, Harriman, and Maryville, 55. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. It's now 7:03. Gone a little bit late, but I thought that information might be helpful for you. 64 on Friday, Saturday 60, 54 on Sunday, and that 54 on Sunday, I'm remiss because last night I put the down arrow. I still believe, in fact, I could do that. Why don't we just do that? We'll go ahead and put the down arrow there. I'll take the red. I'll just put a big old down arrow for that's a Sunday. So essentially, we're talking about temperatures dropping on Sunday. We'll spend most of the day in the low 50s and upper 40s for Sunday, but there will be some rain showers, 40% chance, and mountain flakes as it will get colder in the higher elevations. Some drizzle may still occur Monday, but it's still more mountain flakes, so it's a Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Monday night, snowflakes in the Smokies. But then I think Tuesday looks gorgeous. Tuesday is a good day, 48 degrees, and we're looking at mostly sunny skies, but milder on Wednesday at 56. So just some ideas. I want to get your thoughts. I went on a little bit long. Dennis is on here. Felicia's on YouTube. Back on Facebook, you have a comment question. Bob Alford says, good morning, David Rainey here in Roane County. And Dawn Coleman says, snowflake. I love it. And Angie says, yes, snow. There's some fans that really are not going to be thrilled about the fact that all the snow's gone and their kids have nowhere to sled, right? But it'll come back. Just be patient. Give us the first full week of February, and I think everybody will be like, yeah, I'm on board, yeah. I think the snow denial is pretty much gone now that we had 8.5 inches, right? 8.5 inches of snow fell officially at McGee Tyson over the Martin Luther King holiday. So pretty amazing stuff. By the way, just some free things I can pass along to you. I like free. Somebody's like, tell me about free. Free is the Captain Accurate Weather app. Because if you didn't get the dense fog advisory this morning, in real time, by the way, it happened at 6:02 this morning, then maybe you don't have the app or you don't have your notifications turned on. But you do get all the National Weather Service alerts when they come into your phone. They'll appear on your screen. It's free. You also get lightning alerts, and you get those 3 very exclusive, awesome radar-driven alerts. The twisting storm approaching. Let me just brag on that one for a second, because we hear oftentimes that the National Weather Service says, you know, have multiple sources for information. Well, did you know, just for context, the twisting storm approaching alert went off on August the 7th. What happened August the 7th? August the 7th of last year? Last year. Oh, yes. August the 7th, there was a tornado. You didn't know? It was in West Knox County. It was not far from Nick and Jay's or Providence Church or right there in Lovell Road. And it was actually, I believe it was an EF3 actually. Maybe it's stronger than that. But either way, the twisting storm approaching alert went off, and the tornado warning was not issued. It was like one of the boop. It was one of these short-lived. So the National Weather Service does an awesome job, but you want to get different information. And Barron, who engineered my app, they're radar experts. So they understand that tornadoes live down here, right? And if you're scanning for the entire column, it might take some extra time to do that. So you get the alerts a lot faster. That's why I put my name on this app. I just believe it. I believe in what it does. So if you need real-world experience, Lovell Road is pretty close to many of you in West Knox County. When a tornado occurs, you'll like to have the app. Right? You'll like to have that information because you'll get that. By the way, if you want something a little extra, talked about the big snows that could be on the table in February. You'll be the first to see the snow forecast, and there's going to be more than one. So if you're in that camp where you're like, well, what about my town? What about my town? I just want to know about my town. That's the place to be. Just $4.99 a month. You hit the subscribe button on the Facebook page here, or go to CaptainAccurate.com for more details. Would love to give you that information, as I give a lot of information to my premium members throughout the day, afternoon, and night. They get quite a bit of information on the same page, and you also are accessing my 15-minute video, my winter weather outlook, which still outlines, I still think is going to hold true. We'll see how it plays out with the final totals, but there's still a lot of winter to be had, and we'll see more of that going forward. Anyway, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.